I talked to guys who, famously, this one dude had a $50 spending limit with his wife. Do you know why that happens? Because you've earned that spending limit. She now thinks of you as a baby. You have a pacifier in your mouth. Your wife thinks of you as an infant child because you are so weak, so unreliable, she can't trust you with anything, that she's given you a spending limit. My son Nathan has a bigger spending limit than $50. And this one guy, when he told me that, I just shook my head. But you have earned that status. Everyone earns the state of their life through their habits and what they've done. Hi everyone, welcome to the Rising Father podcast. I'm Chris Rodack. Today we're talking about marriage. How can you save your marriage? I have the secret pill for you. You may not like it. After working with over 100 fathers in over 11 countries in the Men of Fire program, I've watched marriages go from the brink of divorce to thriving, to no sex at all, to sex every week. I've watched it happen. So I do know the solution, but you might not like it, because the reason your marriage is in a bad state, if it is in a bad state, is the reason you're not going to like this solution. Okay? So here's what happens. And I've talked to many guys on calls about this whose marriages are struggling. And many times they don't want to take action on what I suggest, because the reason they're in the state they are is the exact same reason they don't want to take action. And that is they are constantly seeking the easy way in life. They have changed as a person. They have crumbled. They've let themselves slip. And as they have let themselves slip, so has the marriage. They have become an undependable, whiny, leaderless person who relies on their wife for everything. They have allowed their body to slip, their discipline to slip. They've allowed themselves to get lazy. They are a shell of the person their wife has married. So now their wife resents that person. Why? Because basically the person you are is the man that killed her lover. The person you are killed the man your wife fell in love with. And now you're you. If your marriage is struggling, there's a high chance it's because you have allowed yourself to degrade into an unreliable, unpredictable, overly emotional person. If you hear a bang, it's because they're doing construction outside. But that is what I've found with working with many guys who've transformed their marriages. As they themselves transform, their marriage transforms. So why do you not want to hear that if you're that guy? Because you don't like doing hard things. You like taking the easy way, which is why your body looks like it does, which is why your wife can't depend on you for anything, because you're forgetful. You don't finish projects. You can't be relied upon for organizing family activities because you completely let yourself slip. You're probably doing pretty good in your job and you're cruising right now, making decent money. But when you go home, your wife's like, what is happening? How can you be crushing it at work, but when you come home, you're an absolute mess and I have to do everything? You could be in the worst shape of your life right now. You could be the most unreliable you've ever been right now and just completely relying on your wife for everything. And she's wondering, where the heck is the guy that I married? Where did he go? Well, you're killing him with every easy decision you make. You are killing that guy. Every time you decide to sleep in when you promised yourself to get up. Every time you decide to take a drink when you promised yourself you wouldn't. Every time you take another slice of pizza when you said, I'm only going to have 2. And back in the day, you were disciplined. You were savage. You had fire in you. That man's gone. That's the man your wife married. That's the man she fell in love with. And this new person is killing that guy. And then you're sitting on the couch. You're complacent. You're unmotivated. And it's like you came into her house and invaded, kidnapped the man she married, and replaced it with this. And you'll wonder why she resents you. Because you took the guy that she fell in love with. You've become something completely different. So to get back to that guy, you need to work really hard. You can't just go to the bookstore and buy a marriage book and say, well, this marriage book says that if I implement this strategy right now, my wife will be happy and she'll love me again. Sorry, it's not going to work like that. Sorry, it's going to be a lot harder than that. You're going to have to put in a lot more work than that, and it's not going to change this month. It's going to take time. And like I said, I've watched it happen, so I know it can happen. I know how it degrades, and I know how it goes the other direction. I've had guys literally start our program saying, like, my wife wants to divorce me. This is the last chance. This is our Hail Mary. And as they themselves have changed, they've turned themselves into a man their wife falls in love with again. But isn't it obvious? Shouldn't that be an obvious solution? It is, unless you want it to be an easy solution, such as, well, Chris, tell me the secret thing. Tell me the secret marriage solution of this strategy that I can just say, and then everything's going to be good again. Because the solution that I'm proposing takes time, takes work, means you're going to have to take risks, means you might have to invest in yourself, means you might have to do something you're not used to doing, you might have to be uncomfortable, and you are in the state you're in because you only like comfort. So for you to get out of the state you're in, you have to do something uncomfortable, which means that until you allow somebody to push you out of your comfort zone, you will forever be stuck in this bubble of your own self-sabotage, crippling yourself and your family in the future you could have. Let me give you a scenario. This is an interesting psychological thing that happens, and just happened today. So it's why it's on my mind. I'll have a guy who schedules a call with me to join my program. The reason they schedule a call is because they are indecisive. They feel like they've let themselves slip. They've lost their discipline. They can't count on themselves. Maybe their marriage is struggling. And when times get tough, they crumble. They always seek the easy route. And they just recognize that they need support, they need systems, they need accountability. They want me to coach them. They want me in their life, and they want all these good things to push them to become a better man. But they're used to taking the easy way. They're used to running in fear for everything. So because of that, they see that our program can help them, and they schedule a call. When it comes time for them to do the risky thing, invest in themselves and make a change, a portion of them will allow themselves to be pushed. They will take a leap. They'll take a risk. They'll invest in themselves, and they'll change their life. And then the day they're in the program, they're like, oh my goodness, like, thank you. They literally say, thank you for not letting me buy my own bullshit. Another portion of them will take themselves out with the exact reason they're on the call. They'll get nervous. They'll get scared. They'll say, I got to think about it. And they'll do nothing. And then I'll see them 12 months later in the exact same state they were in when they booked the call. So they booked the call to help them stop being indecisive, seeking the easy route. And they said, I need mentorship, leadership right now. I need accountability because I keep on seeking ease and comfort. And then when it comes time to do the hard thing, those self-sabotaging habits cause them to do that thing again. They say, I don't think I can do this, and they get scared. So some guys are too ingrained with those self-sabotaging habits. It's interesting to watch. Because even if they understand that's what's happening, they cannot stop themselves. Like, they've built such a strong cage around their potential that they can't get out. That's one of the biggest things we do in my program, my coaching, is mindset work. It's free yourself from yourself. That is our mantra. It is overcome yourself, battle yourself. The number one person you have to defeat is you. Posted this in my stories today. I said, don't let the man you're trying to flee sabotage the man you're trying to be. Rhymed like Dr. Seuss, but it makes perfect sense. And as I was talking to this guy, it just came to me. I wrote it down. I said, this is beautiful. I hope I can help this guy. But if I can't, at least I got this unbelievable quote out of it. And that's what happened. Like, the man you're trying to flee destroyed the man that you could be. Like, I don't want to be unreliable. I don't want to be weak. I don't want to constantly have to lean on my wife for everything. She's so tired of that. I want to keep my promises again. I'm in my 40s. I want to reach my potential before it's too late. I don't want to know what I can, what a ripped 70-year-old looks like. I want to be my physical prime of this life, because once I get to a certain age, it's impossible to get there again. So I want to reach that point right now. I want to do these things. And they want so badly to change. That's the man they want to be. They want to be confident, strong, leading, ripped, on fire, inspiring people, smiling again, happy again. They want their wife to be able to relax and be feminine again and lean on them and not have to question them about everything. I talk to guys who, famously, this one dude had a $50 spending limit with his wife. Do you know why that happens? Because you've earned that spending limit. She now thinks of you as a baby. Like, you have a pacifier in your mouth. Your wife thinks of you as an infant child because you are so weak, so unreliable, she can't trust you with anything, that she's given you a spending limit. My son Nathan has a bigger spending limit than $50. And this one guy, when he told me that, I just shook my head. But you have earned that status. Everyone earns the state of their life through their habits and what they've done. So you have this man you want to be. You don't want that, right? You want your wife to lean on you. But the man you're trying to flee is always there scratching and clawing at you. He's always pulling you down. He wants you to return to that weak, disgusting, pathetic slob of a man. So you have to run from that guy. You have to battle him every single day. But you have to make sure that when it's time for you to rise, when the universe says no, here's an opportunity for you to take action. You don't let him cut your legs out from under you. It reminds me of Gollum in The Lord of the Rings, down in that dank, cold, wet, dark cave, just lurking down there. That's the guy that you're trying to flee, and you're trying to escape. You're Bilbo trying to escape the mountain, and he's just trying to pull you back in. Some people escape. Some people get pulled back in, have to wait another 5-10 years before they finally escape. Some people never escape and die in the cave. They never realize their full potential. It happens to many people. I think back on all these now probably thousands of calls I've had of guys, on the brink of divorce, 300 plus pounds, alcohol problems, porn problems, all these things. Some of them decide to take action, some of them don't. Some guys die in their 30s from heart attacks who could never say no to food and alcohol. Other people say, this is a time I must change my life and go all in. It's just numbers. It just happens. Some people change their life and others don't. You have the option to do it. But it's so interesting getting inside everyone's head and thinking about their own self-justifications, the stories they tell themselves about themselves, and logic and reasoning. Some guy might think investing $1,000 in himself is a drop in the bucket. Another guy might think, oh my God, I would never do that, while he has every reason in the life to change his life. While he has every reason in the world to change his life. Some people look at the state of their life and say, I have to change right now. I do not want to be remembered like this. I do not want my wife to think of me like this. I don't want my kids to think about me like this. I want to inspire my family. I want my wife to fall in love with me again. Other people look at themselves who could be in the exact same situation and say, it's not that bad. Like two different people thinking completely different in the exact same situation will do two completely different things. One person will massively change his life, and the other person will stay that way. and they're okay with it. They're happy with it. They just don't care. I think it's selfless versus selfish. Because a person that's happy with the way they are and doesn't care will often tell me about the destruction that's happening around them. They'll talk about how their kids are taking on their habits. They'll talk about how their relationship with their wife is disintegrating. It's the worst it's ever been. And yet they still don't care. They still do nothing. And other guys understand and actually care about it and say, no, I must push myself to do something new. Some men push themselves. Others are too chicken shit to do it. I've been at both places. I've been at the spot where I was too chicken shit to do something. And I've also been at the spot where I massively changed everything. And right now I'm reaping the benefits of massively changing everything. In every area of my life. It's great. I'm sorry. I'm bragging right now. I can say that by doing the things that I preach, by changing my habits, by changing my mindset, everything is different. You want a solution? Well, Chris, how do I do it? Here's how you do it. I've been saying how to do it. On every podcast, on every piece of content, I say exactly how to do it, but it's not easy, so some guys don't like to hear it. Someone messaged me. They said, I send my one buddy all of your content, but he can't handle how truthful and biting it is, so he blocks you. He's the one who needs to hear it. He cannot handle the truth. You can't handle the truth. Some people cannot handle the truth, and that is you have to do something hard. There's this guy at the gym who's probably 450, not kidding. He could be on one of those my 700-pound lives. Like, he's giant. But he's always on the treadmill. Every day he's on the treadmill. He's getting smaller. He still has years to go. But he has decided to rise. He has decided to change his life. For him, enough is enough. His attitude of seeking ease and complacency got him to that point, but he does not want to die in 5 years. Like, him legitimately, he could be dead in 5 years for how obese he is. Yet I've talked to guys like that on the phone who are that obese because they never take risks, they never invest in themselves, they never do the hard thing, they always seek ease, comfort, and complacency, and then they continue those decisions and decide not to do anything. And then you have this guy who's far worse and decided to do something and massively change his life. Some guys decide to rise, others decide to stay stuck forever. So I love that quote, if I can love a quote that I came up with this morning. Don't let the man you're trying to flee sabotage the man you want to be. I'll clean that up a little bit, but that's the idea. And I've seen it happen over and over again. I've seen both sides of it. I've seen guys get convicted and say, this is my time, nothing will stop me, and allow themselves to be pushed into uncomfortable territory, into the fog, into the darkness, and just live an unbelievable life they didn't think was possible. And then I've watched other guys with the exact same reasons to rise cower in fear and sink back into the cave. Like Gollum, just pull them back into the darkness to continue their miserable existence every single night of being sad, depressed, anxious, medicating themselves, and just feeding their bodies and brains with things that make them feel good right now, but just destroy them on the inside because they don't want to do something that's uncomfortable. Because it doesn't feel good right now, they will continue to live a life in misery. This doesn't feel good right now, so I will continue to be miserable forever. That's what it is. It's unbelievable, but it's true. Because the solution to all of these things are simple, but they aren't that easy. Here's the solution. You want to change your life? Here it is. Get up early, work out before your family wakes up, have a morning routine, journal, meditate, do breath work. That's what I do. Do an act of service for your wife, and that is where you do the dishes, do something, do the laundry, help her out. Time block your day. That's where you schedule the day in advance. have transitions during your day, have an evening routine, get to bed at a good time, track your food so you're in a caloric deficit every single day, make sure you journal every single day. What do you think is going to happen when you do that? Your entire life will change. Easy. I just gave it to you. That's what we do in our Men of Fire program. I have a new product coming out, a new course, and it's going to be self-paced that you can do on your own. It's going to take you through all of this, plus give you coaching from me, plus have real calls from our brotherhood calls and lessons and amazing content to help you change your life. But that's the basis of it. It's establishing healthy habits. I just told you how to change your life. But here's the thing. It's hard to do that. It's hard to be consistent at that. Many people can do that for a couple days, and then something comes up that takes precedent. Their priorities get thrown out the window because their pattern of seeking comfort destroys them. Because on the third day, whenever it's time to go to the gym, easy, right? I just told you to go to the gym. Go to the gym. Maybe the car has a flat tire. So they say, oh, well, I can't work out today. Even though they could just get down and do a bodyweight workout. I just had knee surgery a couple weeks ago. I've worked out every single day since then. That would be many guys' excuse to not work out for the rest of the year. I just went to the surgeon for my left shoulder. I'm probably going to have to get bicep tendon surgery, potentially rotator cuff on my left shoulder. I'm going to get an MRI soon. I already had it done on my right shoulder. Just, I don't know, genetics. And probably people ripping at me in jiu-jitsu. But so what am I doing? It hurts when I do bench press. It hurts when I do heavy weight and chest right now. I can feel it in my AC joint, my collarbone. I took an x-ray today. Just something going on with my collarbone. So I'm doing push-up workouts now. Doing 500 push-ups 2 days a week. And I feel amazing. It's actually activating my chest muscles more than the other workouts I was doing. So we call it pivot and rise. We do that in my group. We say pivot and rise. Something comes up, don't cower, don't seek the easy route. Pivot, rise. There are no excuses. Whenever you're dead, you're not going to get a billboard next to your coffin that has all the excuses of why you couldn't achieve what you said you were going to. No one gets that. Oh, well, I said I was going to get in great shape. I said I was going to have an amazing marriage. I said I was going to build this business, but list your 1,000 excuses. No one gives a shit. No one cares. Everyone has problems. You're just too weak to do the thing. You just give yourself excuses. See, some guys don't like to hear this, but that's the truth. Some guys, when they hear that, they'll turn off the podcast. But it's the truth. I wish someone talked to me like this back in the day. So if you can handle the truth, if you can have that extreme ownership mentality like Jocko talks about and David Goggins, if I am responsible for every single thing in my life, so I will dig in and do the work and change myself, or here's my list of excuses, I will die with regret. If you can be the first version, then you can change your life. But you have to be able to handle the truth. You have to be able to hear words like this and get convicted and take action. So I want you to do when you hear this. I want you to get convicted and take action and change your life. I am not a multi-millionaire business guru, fitness guru, relationship guru. I'm a normal guy who transformed his life. Okay? I was a sloppy, undisciplined middle school band director. You want to see some fat pictures of me? Look it up on Instagram. I post them all the time. I have one pinned to the top of my profile. Me, fat, sloppy, band director. Not getting paid well, not getting treated well, not treating myself well, feeling lack of passion, lack of energy. I felt, there was lack of love making in my relationship during some of those years. And that was because I let myself slip, just as I started this podcast talking about. I let myself slip. Because of that, everything in my life slipped. So I had a normal 9-to-5 job, and I was married, had kids. I let every part of my life slip because I was seeking comfort, because times were too tough. I kept on giving myself excuses. And then I quit my job started a business, paid off all my debt, got ripped, have an amazing relationship with my wife, best it's ever been, amazing relationships with my kids, am changing the lives of hundreds and thousands of other people around the world now. So that is my resume. That is what I can do. That is how I help people. So if you find yourself in that story, then I can help you. But you have to be willing to drop your ego. I had the biggest ego when I was the most underperforming. When I was the fattest, the sloppiest, the most undisciplined, I also thought I knew the most and had all the answers. That's part of the reason why I was there. I had dinner yesterday with some very successful people, extremely wealthy, successful people, and guess what? They were also some of the nicest, most humble people I've ever met. These weren't Instagram influencers flashing their Lamborghinis. These were very successful business people at a dinner we all had together. They were far more successful than me. Building housing complexes and just doing really, really well. Guess what? Extremely humble, extremely nice, great energy about them. Me, making a beginner teacher salary, not even close to the people they were. Why was I not at their level? It's because of who I was. But I've been changing myself. I'm changing myself so that I can become everything I want to be. So you can continue to make excuses for yourself, or you can radically change the rest of your life. It's just that simple. It's make excuses for yourself and say the timing isn't right, life's too chaotic, blah, blah, blah. I'm moving, I'm getting promoted, my kids are little, it's too crazy. Guess what? I've worked with so many guys now in my program, I've heard every single excuse, and they are showing every single one of those excuses are bullshit. Because every guy in my program has kids, they've got multiple businesses, they've got infants, babies, pregnancies coming, sick, blah, 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 and they're succeeding regardless. Don't be remembered by your excuses. On your gravestone, you don't want it to say, Chris Rodack, 1987 to 3049. I'm going to be over 1,000. He wanted to build a successful business, but life was a little crazy. Life got in the way. He was moving, so he didn't have time to go to the gym. Because of that, he died fat and undisciplined and sloppy. Is that okay, world? You're seeking approval for the excuses you have. I am not giving you approval for those excuses. I'm saying those are bullshit. Why? Because that's exactly what I needed when I was in that spot. I needed someone to call my bluff. I needed someone to say your excuses are bullshit. It's one of the great parts of what we do in my program is we have guys in your situation succeeding, crushing it, who've made transformations, who can call you on your shit and say, no, that's not a good reason for you not to get up. I've got kids too. I'm doing it. You can do it too. So I circled around a lot in this podcast. We started off talking about marriage because I had the call, and I made a post about it, and we talked about all kind of great things. I'm not sure what I'm going to title this one, but it'll have a good title. Hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions from me, send me a message. If you're interested in our Men of Fire program, fill out an application. It's going to be on this video. It's on my Instagram accounts everywhere. Also, look out within the next month, releasing a revolutionary product. There's going to be nothing like it in the men's space. You will be able to change your life with this product. It's not as intensive as the Men of Fire program. That's for people who are serious about, I'm ready to rise right now. But you will be able to absolutely transform your life with this thing. All right, guys. Hope you enjoyed that. See ya.